Hi, I'm Timothy Alexander White, your host, spokesperson, and master of ceremonies for Festival at Sea 2018. We are on our 27th sailing, and we have some special guests with us, and one is sitting right next to me. This young man has been around for quite some time. Some of you may know him, some of you may not, so you get a chance to find out who he is. Think you know? This is FASkidCapri. FASkidCapri is a very well-known, renowned DJ, and he's on the cruise with us. Hey, man, I want to welcome you. How are you doing, man?
Good, great.
Last night I had a chance to see you work it, man. You worked the crowd. Yeah. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I saw the party flowing and going like it always does, it's always a great time. Yeah. And FASkidCapri steps up. And so I'm wondering, okay, so what is he going to do to a crowd that's already jammed? What is he going to do? And you did your thing, man. You cracked the mic and you did some things I've not seen anybody else do. And so tell me about your start.
Oh, well, I started, man, a long time ago, 8 years old, starting on the mixer with no headphone hole. I had to guess all the spots on the records, mixer my mother bought me. And that's what made me get a lot better than the guys that was in the neighborhood. And throughout the years, staying with it, you know, just ended up just being in the right place at the right time, going in the right situations, and then I ended up playing in a club that was kind of forbidden to be in, and that club was the one that was the place that got me the recognition that I needed to get for the people to see me. Started doing my mixtapes, sat in the street corner and sold mixtapes, and next thing you know, my first album deal came, my first radio deal came, Russell Simmons came with Def Comedy Jam, and the rest was history from there. And, all my shows have became A1. Mixtapes sold so much, and you know, my second album came. We got a third album on the way, 2 TV shows. So a lot of things that came from it. But when I started with, I didn't think it was gonna go this far.
And that's our interview. I don't have anything else to ask. He told us all. You know, you and I talked for a moment before we started here, and we talked about you started right around 1976. I think I started around 78, and I didn't have a mixer. I had a switch, and I had 2 mix-match turntables, and I would put the needle down on it, and I could hear the and that's how I had to guess where the mixing point was, right? So it takes me way back, man. It's a pleasure to hear someone else has that kind of beginning. Well, let me ask you, what is you know, out of who, you know, if you were a singer, I would ask you who may have been some of your favorite singers or who you pattern after.
Well, my dad was a singer. My dad was a soul singer. My grandfather played trumpet for Dizzy Gillespie, Count Basie, and Miles Davis. So I always been around the soul guys of the 70s, seeing my dad around him, and then growing into my own thing, I started seeing them guys. So, but my favorite always been James Brown. You know, he always been the guy played around my house, and you know, he was just the beginning of hip hop as a whole before we even knew what hip hop was going to be. He was the one that designed that. And you know, so he was definitely one. And, you know, a lot of the older soul singers, Stylistics, Teddy Pendergrass, those are the dudes I respect a lot. You know, and because you really had to sing. There was no help back then. It was, you know, you really had to get on the mic and do your thing. So right now we have a lot of things you can help the R&B singers fix their voices and tweak them this way and that way. There's a lot of great guys out there, but back then I just respected them more.
So, you know, back when I was coming up and doing some DJing, I never thought in a million years that a DJ would be on the stage, you know, 50,000 people, a singer, a rapper, an artist on stage, and the DJ has his own set. Now, let me ask you, are you part of the rehearsal, or you just kind of go with the flow?
I do what I do. What happened was my mixtapes was the door opener for DJs to become a celebrity now. Now we was looked at as not just somebody playing records.
Exactly.
You get in an arena with 50,000 people and you give this guy that got the big record a hard time when he gets on stage. When you get on stage, this crowd is going into a frenzy. It became a switching of the guard. It became a little bit more, it became something different. When Def Comedy Jam came around, before people even really cared about a DJ, they would see me for 5 seconds on this show, and that meant so much to them in their living room on their television set. So when they came to see me in concert, and they seen this 20-minute set, and the frenzy that's in this building, it just became something different. And around that time is when the DJ business just started becoming. I made it more of a DJ, more of a business than just a culture. You know,
you've done quite well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen you on when they're going to introduce a comedian, and you're playing before the comedian comes out. I know that sometimes a comedian will choose a song that they want to hear for whatever reason, but is there a time when you decide that you just want to rock the crowd and hype the crowd for whoever is coming out?
Yeah, well,
how often does that happen?
When we did the tapings, before we would do the tapings, we would have like a party inside the studio.
Okay.
So the people would be going crazy in there and they're having a good time dancing, whatever, and that would get the comedians ready, everything pumped up for everything to start. That's why the shows were so hyped. You see on the television, the crowd looking funny and everybody going wild. And that's what made it look so exciting. But it was because of that party we did before the taping that got them in that mood. And then when we went and did the concert, like I said, they seen a whole different thing because now they get a comedian on stage for 7 minutes instead for 20 minutes instead of 7 minutes, and then they have me for 20 minutes. I'm there through the whole show, and then little spontaneous things happen in between the show that's not on the television set. So it became a monumental thing to where we traveled all over. We did every state. And we had so many shows, we had to bring 2 more teams out. I had to put 2 more teams to go around the country and do the shows. And it became monumental. And so then it became so monumental. Last year we did Def Comedy Jam 25 on Netflix, and that became a big deal. So it's one of them things that's always going to be around. I mean, it may not be on TV all the time, but it's something that's been in people's lives for a long time. And all the comedians that you see that mean something right now, they all came from us.
Okay.
Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, Bernie Mac, Jamie Foxx, all these dudes came from Def Comedy Jam.
Okay. Yep. So let me ask you this. So if I'm listening to my radio and I hear coming up this weekend, this Saturday, Anthony Hamilton in concert, am I to expect a DJ to be there with him or no? And okay, so what happens when you're playing behind a performer, entertainer? How do I see your billing on there? You know what I'm saying?
I don't usually play behind too many people because I'm my own top biller.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I do 200 shows a year. So you know, when I'm on the flyer, it's FASkidCapri.
Okay.
If I'm on there with somebody else, if it's like me and Rakim just did in Indiana.
Okay.
Me and Rakim been on the tour before. We did the tour before, but this time we did a show. I didn't even know he wanted me to play for him. And we just did it spontaneously, so I backed him up.
Okay.
But it's a thing where it's Rakim and FASkidCapri.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
It's not me behind somebody. I'm just behind somebody.
Okay.
I'm a part of the show as well. So
you are top billing.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So and that's how I designed it. I wanted people to look at it as DJs ain't just somebody that's playing records.
Exactly.
You know, they don't look at the fact that you're there for 2 hours making these people go crazy. When you got an artist that come on and do a couple of records and you want to pay him all this money and don't pay him what this man's standing there doing for all this time. And that was my fight to make sure that people understood that. But you have to have the talent to back that up. You have to bring the money in when the promoters, hire you to come through, and also give the best performance you can give. And once I was able to do that, and they seen that, the changing of the guard happened.
So if you weren't a DJ, what would you be doing? What would your career be? What other interests do you have?
It's kind of hard to say that because I've always been in music all my life. So that's all I really knew. That's what paid my bills all this time. That's what took me all around the world and introduced me to some of the most important people I could ever meet. You know, so I never had anything else but music. That's my father, my grandfather, always been around the house. That's all I've done. Now I've have other businesses that I've opened. You know, from hair shops on to anything, but that's been the core. Without me doing the music thing, I probably would never got to that. So I can't really say I would have did this or did that. That's all I really knew.
Okay. Do you play any instruments other
than?
I
play drums. A little bit of, I'm not. If you tell me to get on the piano and say play a song, I couldn't do that. But if I'm in my studio and I want to, and I from ear, if I want to put something together, I could do that. Drums I play, I could do a little bit on the guitar. But I have every instrument in my studio though.
You got kids?
I have 2 daughters,
Okay, and what are they in the music industry also?
My oldest daughter is 26 and she draws and she's doing real good. My youngest daughter, Davina Love, she has 2 big songs out right now. She did a song called Air that did real good for her. She edited her own video and she do a lot of shows. She's doing really, really good. And then she put another song out called Stay Mad that's doing real good for her. So she's on her way up. And the most thing that was important to me was her personality and how she takes care of people and how she receives it, and not putting the music thing first. Always making sure that her life is first and that's second. And she did the right thing, so she's doing good.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good, man. It sounds like you have a great life. What are some of the places you play that you really like? Some of the biggest venues, some of the ones that took you, places that you really enjoyed spending some time there? As
far as venues, I done did every venue, but my best show I ever done was at Madison Square Garden when I helped Aaliyah. That was a big, yeah. That was really big. That concert, I'll probably never have another concert like that. But I played in places like Japan. I've been to Japan 5 times. Everywhere, all over through Europe, every state, all the islands. I've done Haiti before. A lot of places, man. Places I can't even name. I've been to places I've never even heard of. I got
can't pronounce the names.
I don't even know what it is. So, But it's just a blessing to know that people accept what I brought to the table. You know what I'm saying? As a DJ, you know, because like I said, like, you know, we was always looked at as somebody that's playing music, standing behind the guy that's the big guy, you know. And, you know, being out made to do it the way I did it was a beautiful thing, man. I just thank God for that.
You know, I was about to say that I can tell you're a very spiritual person. You even mentioned God last night in your show. And I think you and I both know that music is a universal language.
Absolutely.
And music has the opportunity to heal, or it has the ability to heal, to bring people together, to have people unity. And I want to thank you, man, for your gift, for your skill, for your talent, and for what you do for bringing people together. People on this ship seem to love you. They know what you do. They know your name. You've made a name for yourself. You big time, man. I'm glad to be sitting here talking to you. You know, even though I started young, not as young as you, but hey, man, I feel like we were come up through the same times in music. So maybe we'll get a chance to hear some Temptations tonight.
Make sure I get it on for you, brother. I was gonna get it on for you the other night. I was rushing through it, but we got a lot in there. I got some Al Green in there. For you.
Yeah.
Got the Stapleton and singers in there.
Right, I heard it.
I'm gonna get Temptation joint in there for you.
All right, for real. So thank you so much, man. This is Timothy Alexander White and Kid Capri, special guest here at Festival of the Sea 2018.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.